Welcome back to Meet in the Middle. I'm Christine Brown, and in the studio with me right now is Michael Goins. He is wouldn't I call you the executive director? Is that right, or what is your title?
That is correct.
Okay, good. Of the Pasco Downtown Development. And are you the authority or the association?
We are the authority.
Authority,
yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So if people haven't been to downtown Pasco lately, I want you to share with us first off, like all kinds of downtown cities have interesting challenges when retail kind of walked out and went to the suburbs, as it were, and so downtowns have, they're kind of in a new place today, trying to redefine themselves. What are some of those challenges that are facing downtown Pasco?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me. I think one of the biggest challenges that all downtowns face is this idea of sprawl, urban sprawl and everything going out to the suburbs, and with the aspect of highways making it a lot easier for people to travel further. And specifically for Pasco, we have that. We have, if you look in Pasco itself, we have development out on Road 68, we have development out on Road 100. And you're trying to capture, in essence, people to come back down and do a lot of their shopping in the commercial district, which happened in the 50s and 60s. The downtowns were the hub of a lot of commercial activity. So I think that's our biggest challenge is now creating this place for people to go to, and a gathering place that's not only commercial driven, but that's also social, that people have a sense of place, a sense of pride. And that's been our biggest challenge, and I think it's unique to it's not unique to us. It's happening in many downtowns.
Yes, I certainly would agree with that. And just like a lot of other downtown areas that kind of lost their emphasis there for a while, there were concerns about safety for some people. And I think about that, and another way to contrast that is to look at the community of Yakima, and their downtown was just horrible, and people were really at the point that they were afraid to be going downtown, and they have just turned that upside down. And I think is a great model for a lot of other cities now. What about the issue of safety in downtown Pasco?
I think a lot of it is education, and there's this perception versus reality, right? The reality is downtown Pasco is a lot safer than it was 20 to 30 years ago, when you think about some of the issues that it faced, but a lot of that perception is still out there. So as much as I want to say, hey, Pasco is a lot safer, and it is, if you look at some of the surveys that have been out there, Pasco got voted one of the safest communities in the state, over some of our surrounding cities, but a lot of that is education, and I think some of it's educating people that downtown Pasco is safe, that we don't have the issues that we had 20 years ago. And also engaging the youth. I think a lot of times when you start to engage the youth in the downtown and get them involved, there's this perception that kids are there, and it is a safe place to be. And then that also brings their parents, and that can start to change the perception of what we have.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at this as an issue that's a challenge, but it's also very positive for our community in general. But the Union Gospel Mission, which has been a way for folks who are homeless or temporarily homeless or like down on their luck, whatever is going on in their life, they've got a place to go. And now the mission, which is in the downtown Pasco area, is expanding. And some people have raised, a concern that it will, obviously attract more people who are down in their luck or temporary or homeless.
Sure. I think one of the answers to that is, and you can certainly do some more research on the mission itself, but the mission right now isn't looking to bring in more people from out of town, right? The mission right now is just looking to service the overpopulated area that it has. One of the designs to the new mission is expanded space, expanded facilities, more space for education, grounds that they could hang out on. Right now, if the gospel in its location on 2nd Street, when the population is out, they're just out on the street.
Right.
But I think, in essence, it's not just the mission. I think it's facing the broader, public health, the mentally ill, and some other challenges that downtown has that isn't just mission related.
Right. So let's turn our attention and talk about some of the unique assets of downtown Pasco. What's to offer there?
I think vibrancy is one of the biggest things. You know, we have a very vibrant culture. We have a huge, obviously we have a huge Hispanic population that's entrepreneurial in spirit, that exudes a vibrant nature. And I think that's one of the biggest opportunities that we have, is we can capitalize on that and really be able to use that to our advantage when we market the downtown. We've got a great structural footprint for a downtown. If you look at some of our surrounding sister cities, we've got a great skeleton, some great bones, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
to really do some development. And you know, a lot of people have talked about we have some vacant buildings, and while they may be challenges, you know, I look at them as opportunities, as we have an opportunity to repurpose some of those buildings and really attract some new retail and some new businesses to the mix.
Well, I go back to challenges here, but because I also think it's an asset.
Sure.
But you know, people have described downtown Pasco as Little Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, there are a lot of Latino businesses in that area, which I happen to think is an asset. But maybe other people, if they don't feel like they want to frequent, that they don't need the products that are provided or the services, they may not come to downtown Pasco.
Yeah, and I think
because then it becomes quite a niche.
it does, and I think it's, you know, when we talk about development, that you can't just have one business. You know, if you had 10 coffee shops, no, they're not all going to be successful, and that's the same thing. If you have 10 businesses that offer the same goods and services, someone's going to not do well. I think the opportunity we have is to celebrate the culture that's down there and the Latino businesses that are down there, but also bring in you know, some good retail mix that has some diversity,
Mm-hmm.
whether that be a coffee shop or a restaurant or some nightlife or activity. I think one of the features too is that we are seeing some new businesses, you know, develop, whether it be professional services or insurance agencies, that have started to come in and offer, besides just offering straight retail, now it's business to business or it's personal to business, and I think that's been a huge asset for us. And I look at it as an opportunity. You know, we have so much culture to celebrate downtown, and I think that's one thing that we can offer is it's unique in its nature, and it's one thing to be able to celebrate that and market it and really just be proud of it.
I think it is a very positive, unique aspect. So all cities are looking for great ways to get people to come back to their downtowns. And so what do you think has worked so far in downtown Pasco? What are those things?
Well, you know, the one thing that we have going for us, I mean, we have many things, but we've had the Pasco Farmers Market, which I think is a tremendous draw for downtown. And while we've seen farmers markets pop up all over the Tri-Cities,
Mm-hmm.
it's great to have that sense of local business in your downtown. And we've also done a great job at creating a sense for people to come downtown. We've had our Food Truck Friday, which happens on every Friday in downtown Pasco, where we took the farmers market on Fridays, which is typically a parking lot, and we've put food trucks down there. Not just food trucks that are taco trucks. We have Asian, and we have barbecue and burgers and hot dogs and Creole, and we created a sense of place in something that wouldn't be utilized on the weekdays, and I think those type of things help, those type of programs, and then we also did a good job of we really got some youth involved with our cleanup program, which we bring youth down and they clean up the area. So I think that's been some things, and one of our biggest accomplishments this year was being part of the Main Street organization. So now that we are a Main Street city, which is historical preservation and the revitalization of your downtown.
Yeah. Pasco Farmers Market, awesome.
Mhm.
And the Food Truck Friday, that is just, I don't know, whose idea was that? Because that was a really, really good idea.
It was a total team effort. You
That's
know,
good.
we've got a great team that works with me. So it's been awesome.
All right, good. We're going to take a break here, but we'll be back to talk about more of the projects to attract people to downtown Pasco. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back to Meet in the Middle on this Monday. And my guest in the studio today is Michael Goins. He is the Executive Director of the Pasco Downtown Development Authority. And, you know, you bring fresh eyes to this whole downtown issue because you come from the completely other side of the, you know, states.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia, so 2,700 miles away. But what's been great about it is to be able to approach it that there's typically when people do that we've always done it this way, or we've done it this way for so long, or
Yeah.
and so to be able to come in from an outsider's perspective and say, well, you know, what if we just did it this way, or made a little bit of a change? I think that's been truly helpful.
Mm-hmm. All right, so another one of your projects I know that you are advertising now is Fiery Foods Festival.
Yes.
When is that anyway?
September 12th. So
Ooh, that's close.
Yeah.
Okay.
13
All right.
days.
Yeah. So encourage me. Tell me I want to go. Why do I want to go?
I think much more than just supporting downtown is we've really taken on the objective of making this truly about food. So we have at this point 8 or 9 food trucks that are involved. Every one of them has to have a spicy item, and they're really creative with it. We have a water ice company that's doing a spicy water ice, and it's really just the object to get people down there for food. And music and enjoy. Last year we had a national recording artist that came down to be our headliner, and this year we went differently. We are supporting all local musicians. We have a what's called Pasco Rocks YouTube competition where we have 8 contestants. There's 6 slots available to play, and they are promoting themselves to play the event, and they're pushing for votes. And so far we've had over 1,200 votes for bands, and they're all local musicians. So rather than go out there and you know, get a national recording artist, we wanted to, you know, speak true to our mission and support the local musicians in the area.
Oh, that's nice, and there are a lot of them. Let me share our phone number again, 547-8726. If you want to call in, we'll be able to add you to our conversation today. So I'm wondering, what kind of authority does the Pasco Downtown Development Authority actually have? I mean, you can, let's say you could not decide, oh, well, we want to be a Bavarian style like Leavenworth and expect that all businesses would change.
Yeah.
You can't do that, can you?
No.
You don't
no.
have that kind of authority.
No. I don't want that authority either. I think, but how we integrate with the downtown businesses of the city is we act as a liaison between the downtown and the city. We do make recommendations not only to the city but with the downtown business owners. We try to listen to what the downtown business owners are saying, and then through our own development, we work with the city to make things happen. So just for an example, to use it, we have a facade program. It's a facade improvement program where a business can apply to redo the facade, and they get 75% of their costs reimbursed. But they do have to stick with some certain design standards, and that's a color palette, and that's a theme that has been created through an ordinance and through a resolution. So there are ways to do that, and that's where we've come into play. So we've made recommendations as we're redoing the streetscape, and we're working on bringing in some design concepts for Peanuts Park and the Farmers Market. We do play a big role in what that looks like, and making our recommendations to the city as far as, you know, a downtown development group, what works and what doesn't work, and what the downtown businesses want to see.
What is your theme?
I'd say cultural, and I don't want to say just Hispanic or Latino. Obviously, we're celebrating that with what we have, but we don't want to exclude anything either. So we really are utilizing the theme that we have currently, which we do have a lot of Latino businesses, and we're celebrating that in color and in how we help promote the downtown, but we're not excluding anyone, and we're not going to specifically say that, you know, every business has to be a Latino business, or everything has to be a serve Hispanic goods and services.
Yes.
We're really creating a diverse mix. If you look at some of our brand values, cultural is one of them, you know, and vibrance another, and I think that's what we want to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Well, more and more businesses are tuning into the idea, to the reality that the population base of our community is changing, and so if they want to have continued customers buying their products or services, then they need to market to the customers that are there. And when you have, in Pasco and Franklin County, we're 60–70% at least Latino, so that would seem like a smart idea. How many restaurants are there in downtown Pasco? Do you know off the top of your head?
Restaurants
Yes,
and or
yes.
mobile vending?
No.
Just restaurants?
Restaurants.
Right now there's one main restaurant, two main restaurants in the downtown core, which is from 2nd Street to 10th Street.
Uh-huh.
One of them specifically on Lewis Street. That we've had some struggle with restaurants in the downtown. That's one of our objectives to improve.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
Because it seems to me that's one of the assets that you got going on. People love Mexican food. People love it, and you know what people really, they want this feeling like that's authentic.
Yeah.
Like somehow that's authentic, or that's gourmet Mexican food.
I think one of the challenges for some of the restaurants to succeed is there is an overabundance of Mexican restaurants or mobile vending in the downtown. If you look at it, I mean, from Lewis Street to 4th Street, or Lewis Street to Court Street, there's about 13 mobile vending units, all serving tacos in the same area.
Yes.
So that's a lot of competition. And
Yeah, but that's sitting in your car or on a little bench right there eating. It's not. And
No.
you can't have a beer with it.
No.
Come on, there's.
Yeah, no, and I think we've started to see some definite interest in restaurants developing. The new restaurant that opened, roughly in December of last year, and they put a lot of work into the facade. They put a lot of work into the renovation of the inside, and I think you're seeing more of that. I would like to see tons more of it.
I think that sounds like a good idea. I think we ought to check it out this week. What's the name of that business?
Taqueria Mexico.
Okay.
So it's right across from the post office. You can't miss
all right.
it. Yeah. And,
okay.
But we've seen to talk about we've seen a lot of interest in some. And I'm going to go back to mobile vending for a moment because food trucks are a huge craze. They're very in. They're trendy. And one of the things we've seen is a huge development of people that want to open a food truck in the Tri-Cities. And the Pasco Specialty Kitchen had who's with us hosts Food Truck Friday. They also hosted what's called Mobile Vending University, which is if you want to start a food truck or you want to start a mobile vending unit, you come to the class. You have a 5-part class. You learn everything from operations to marketing to business plans. And we had 9 potentially new businesses who signed up for that class and 15 participants, all different types of cuisine. And I think that you're seeing this huge interest to generate a more culinary base in the Tri-Cities. And I think that it's an easier way to start with a food truck first, right? It's a little bit less expensive, and then eventually hopefully grow into a brick and mortar building. And that's one of our goals with the Pasco Specialty Kitchen, is to see some of these food trucks succeed so that they can go from being a mobile vending unit to a brick and mortar restaurant, and our goal is to keep them in Pasco.
Right. Okay. That sounds. Where did Pasco? This is completely off topic here, but Pasco Specialty Kitchen come from?
It was created through the city, actually, as a business incubator. So as the downtown association and then the downtown development authority started focusing more, that kind of took that under its wing. But it's a business incubator. That's how it was created.
Good. Well, we need more local, authentic restaurants here in the Tri-Cities. So they're doing good work. I appreciate that too. And I'm not the only one. I want to know, how is your organization and what you do intertwined with the city of Pasco? Because you're different. You're separate. You're a nonprofit, actually, aren't you?
We are, yeah. So there's some history involved. There was the Pasco Downtown Development Association that was in existence for quite some time. That was its own separate 501c3 nonprofit. When that had kind of
fell apart, dissolved.
Yeah, dissolved.
Went away.
It went away. The city knew that there was a need for an organization in downtown. So through a city ordinance created by City Council, they created the Downtown Pasco Development Authority. We are a separate 501c3, but we are partially funded through the city, and then we work very closely with the city. So we have a city liaison on our board. Everything that we do goes through City Council. So when we created our strategic work plan, which is a 5-year work plan for downtown, that had to get voted on from City Council. So we do have a huge connection with the city, but as far as our own branding and strategic visioning, we are separate in that nature.
All right. Well, what's another project that you're looking at implementing soon here?
I think one of the big things is earlier there was talk about the transportation package, and that's going to help with the Lewis Street overpass.
Yes, okay.
And what that has created is we're working with the city and with a consulting firm right now, is that really changing the streetscape in downtown Pasco, and really starting at the heart at 4th and Lewis, which is considered the heart of downtown, and revitalizing the streetscape, having some renovations to the Pasco Farmers Market, completely redoing Peanuts Park. So that's going to be a big project of ours, and it's a capital project, so it's going to take some time, but that's something that would make a huge difference downtown, and really change the landscape of what downtown looks like, you know. And I think by the city putting some real big public investment into that, shows a huge step forward for supporting our downtown businesses.
Well, how many? Okay, go ahead.
I was going to talk about one other project because I think it's exciting. So we were the first downtown to implement Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi in downtown, and right now it's located at the market, and we're looking to expand that. That would include between 3rd and 5th Street, and then Columbia and Clark Street. So much more expanded Wi-Fi and free to users. So I think that's a way to help engage the youth and also bring some people to really be able to enjoy downtown.
It's a huge calling card. I think you're smart there.
Yeah.
Going in that direction, that's for sure. All right, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a chance to learn about the Pasco downtown and what's being developed there, and some of your challenges and what you're doing to counteract those challenges. Good luck to you. I appreciate your work here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We're back in a moment. This is Meet in the Middle for Monday.